Shake it. From my shit, baby I shit. See can I lock it, baby I block it. So yeah my baby mo, yeah then I befa, oh befa, yeah then I befa. Coco, ya no me chadia choteto, and Ramanda, Tuntun de Diet Moto, or Brian, they say Miss your get chalato, Chale, no be lie, Bibia, ya, Ubia, ya, Laris, Chale, no be lie, Bibia, ya, Ubia, ya, from my shit, baby, I shit. See can I lock it, baby I block it. So yeah my baby mo, yeah then I befa, oh befa, yeah then I befa. Living a life on the street, nobody care what we do, nobody care what we go through, nobody care what we do. Your brand motivational speakers, won't try and find out. Your parents you know be. Yes, I'm here. Someone say another. I'm not Betty Coco. When the man break up bed, willing to Mr. John. Yes, see what when the bed is hard. Chale, no be lie. Shit, Bibia, yeah, shit, Ubia, yeah, shit, Laris, Chale, no be lie. Shit, Bibia, yeah, shit, Ubia, yeah, shit. From my shit, baby, I shit. See can I lock it, baby I block it. So yeah my baby mo, yeah then I befa, oh befa, yeah then I befa. From my shit, baby I shit. See can I lock it, baby I block it. So yeah my baby mo, yeah then I befa. Befa, oh befa, yeah then I befa.
Savage Nick.
Speed roll it.
Bye. I feel start this one, self. Sing it, damn it. Boys are bread all week. Missy, yeah, time is money. I did watch the bezel, dance with the devil. You know they my level. 2 left feet, boys are bread all week. No rest for the weary and ambition, no they sleep. Not about image, not about gimmicks. All lyrics they feel it. This is only scrimmage. Cup filleth over. Nyame, thanks for the spillage. Trying to raise my young king might take a village. Benada, Mimida, Ukuada. Almost see I don't mean to our Buada. I shoot you got between Benz and Okada. Sika Semsi, you can't tell me nada. Devil wears Prada, angels wear wings. I'm the new king. Kula bow down, kiss the ring. I do it to myself while I'm my flow straight, yours bow-legged. Alanta, I know they fear against us against the build character. On Twitter, leaving blood stains to 140 characters. Sing it, damn it. I know good lie you, Jolly. Till these gray skies turn blue. Mania Rio. I know good lie you, Jolly. Till these gray skies turn blue. Yeah, my eye red like a Somali pirate. I'm a public figure, but I can't fly private. Wanna close my eyelids?
Patrol Abaswa, please share this for us. Share it and give us a like. And then, we continue in a few minutes.
Stop my iris. I did don't shades for club, a bit embarrassed. And my nigga Fui told me this. Find a chick who helps you get rich and stay rich. I swear thing I know they hear. Ain't that some shit? They take girls with mad baggage. Ain't that a trip? They say my wordplay, they believe it's ether. Okay, this just in. Bieber fever. Justin, whatever I feed ya. You for Bob, you forget. No amnesia. He ain't see no evil or trouble. So a deaf husband and a blind wife are a good couple. I take risks, no stun double. It's a celebration on my elevation. Let's blow bubbles. Make I have my belts. Kiddies all buckle. It's a pet, but I all got knuckles. Hennessy got me pumped up and talking stupid. Boy, and I was a gunfight, that dumb Cupid. Dapper Rap Boy of the Year. The episode of fear. Them times Yankee, we used to shed tears. I didn't feel the pressure, make diamonds like the BS new king on the new team. Sing it, damn it. I know good like you, Charlie. Till these gray skies turn blue. Maybe I break your. I know good like you, Charlie. Till these gray skies turn blue. Maybe I break your. Sing it, Charlie. Till these gray sing it, damn it.
A manifest M. Yeah, then Krum Hanufi or Yakobia only Womadina Mountain. So the Hanu Cool School. In the school, one or yet the offer only 2 Quanque Bruci, a Brucins 1 for Tramo for Angedeng and Guanco Chapo, or Kokushia, and I normally actually Wakasa Chedi as a Bushian or the tree the Brofo Frati Macasahara yet day. Sisi and Kasahari Moba only can wait the ending. Watch Ting about the performance as well. Oko Heko Hako Bebia, Ubiara Agenatu, a density store on a number for our ODP, our friend a pie, Ubianco tea, a pie, no tea, Ubunze Mencantro.
Sing it, damn it.
Come on. For multi highlight Kaka, whilst I invite people to the show. To Mr. Osha, please share it and let everybody be on it. Share it and like it. We'll be intimate. As an we started about 30 minutes late. Now one for credit say be in your show. It's Mr. Osha, please share it. Multi highlight.
Don't go be percent on the Miko. Cody Misiko. Yeah. Miss my penis, so one money on the set. Minini Kotia, Metimiko. But she say, why me? Now me just say, well, be friendly. Take me on a date so you could know me. The band is saying I feel there. We are my match break. But me say no, please. Open up with the music low key. When we do lipstick with tight jeans. So they bear my media. Me so me mouth straight. Me say I don't go be pese. All the me go. Oko di misiko. Yeah. Me so my penis so one man on the set. Minini Kotia, Metimiko, Pame on set. Yeah. Oh, Pame on set. Yeah. All right, let's go. Shaman Yoba, no other man. Matthew, she would do my day. Find your papa and never tell me, Doria. See, you walk come and mention me. Other papa, they would not come me, Doria. See,
You walk my better, when Shamira. Other papa, they would in a command.
See, I don't go be the set, all the go. Yeah. So my fitness, so I'm my name on the set, meaning it.
But you have a Timiko. Yeah, it's a high life, you know. That's right.
Michelle, my baby, now me say me checking on. Sweet teen, should steez me like no. Russia on the DM, now me testing on me, but so I'm in chain. Got crown, I'm enticing no. Please don't take me there. If you promise you'll never leave, stay with me to the morning breeze, baby. Yeah, I'm telling you, bossing up my breath.
The Ghana for we can never go wrong with highlights. I wonder why I try it. We try to steal other people's music because highlights is so beautiful.
You got to recognize the man in me. Don't give me stories, I beg you, please. Oh, baby, so tease me, baby. Or you better leave me, baby. Girl, run, come kiss me, baby. Me, I go sing it, baby. Hey, mommy, on set.
Nice, man.
Then to chorus, no. I sing, I don't go. The set, on the go. Yeah. Me so my business, so I'm my name on the set. Me ne koi, Metimiko.
Oh, yeah, that somebody be another my boy. Let's go again.
Ready? Here we go. I see I don't go be percent on the miko. Kodimi siko. Yeah. So my business so I'm money on the set. Minini kodia metimiko. But she say why me? I made yourself obey your friendly. Take me on a date so you could know me. The band is saying I feel there. We are my marty break. But me say no please. Open up with the musical low key. When you lipstick me with tight jeans. So they bear my media. Me so me my will straight. Me say I don't go be best. All the me go. Okodimi siko. Yeah. Me so my business so I'm my name on the set. Minini kodia metimiko. But me on set.
Let's go. Find your papa and ever tell me do ya see you walk come mama man shame your other papa de would in a come me do ya see you walk come mama man shame your other papa de would in a come
see I don't go be the set on the go so my fitness so I'm my name on the set meaning it quick what me on set
yeah it's a high life you know that's right
Michelle, my baby, now me say me checking on. Sweet teen, should it steez me like no. Rush on the DM, me why? Now me testing on me, but so I'm in chain. Got crown, I'm here dancing on. Please don't take me there. If you promise you never leave, stay with me to the morning breeze. Baby, yeah. And girl, you bossing up my brain. You got to recognize the man in me. Don't give me stories, I beg you, please. Oh, baby, so tease me, baby. Or you better leave me, baby. Girl, run, come kiss me, baby. Me, I go sing it, baby. Hey, what me on say?
Nice, man.
Then to chorus now. I think I don't go the set. On the me go.
Oh, go di mystical.
Yeah. Me so my business so I'm my name on the set.
Me ni koi dia metimico.
Come. Ove come.
And I think that's what it is. With the episode for me, that's once again Yasanaba, and today we're just going to discuss what's going on with Krum as usual. Kweku, you're welcome. Never discuss it. What is going on as usual? What is scrolling down there? You scrolling or down, and then I have discussing it. If you're number one, I have discussing that. I am a percent semi account once them last 2 weeks now. According to expected by on measure and say those were the short term and medium term solutions to our problems. Basically, they were just the short term solutions to our problem. Now, you have to find out say what exactly should be our long term. What should be our long term solutions to our problems? I said, if we can get somebody with my boy, and I say actually I drink a as to how I say to make sure say we don't go back to the IMF after this one. We can make this the last one. And I said, next time when we're going there, we're not going to be in such a dire situation. And secondly, Samotia, Vice President, my speech be. Now, I think people might have misconstrued it. And I say, people are, I mean, he meant exactly what he said, and people don't agree with it. It has become a debate. I know Ghana card versus infrastructure. I don't know. This debate say if it's situated well, say infrastructure, are we supposed to choose one? And I say, you know, at this point, is it a debate at all? Say infrastructure versus Ghana card. This Vice President Kokar said Ghana card at this point is more important than some roads. You know, Among Frontier said it has become a big debate. He said the better one I discuss it. Ghana card nankasa any infrastructure. And number 3, there was a big event. There was a very big event last week. The ruling party, some internal elections, and there were some big seismic movement as far as Omu executives were concerned. There were some big changes. I don't know what is it telling us? Is it a show of the modern Ghanaian, baby Anadria Kwakwa could do? Say the Ghanaian knows what he wants, and irrespective of the influence or irrespective of popularity, only they'll be choosy. And that's number 3. And the 4th one here, I read a survey on City FM website. Say according to a national survey, on my finding out, say last year alone, Ghana has lost about 5 billion Ghana cedis to just bribe, corruption. What do you think? I know it will be the last one. That would be my topic for any other business. And I think, say, Baswa, they can, almost within the topics that I'm looking say it was hot this year, last week and this week. Now you're discussing also. I would say, let's start with what number 1 says. Let's start with the debt problem. I think Kweku is here. Kweku knows a little bit more about this than I do. Kweku, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
How is it going? Yeah, you're on, Kweku. Yep, you're on. We're live. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm on mobile phone. So, anyway.
Okay. So you're not home yet?
No, I mean, if you can hear me, I'll be good.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear a lot.
I'm thinking, where do I even start from? I'm thinking, like, if you are going to if you're going to fetch water, bucket, not bucket, no matter how much water you put into it, and China a bucket that's an MTBM. You get where I'm coming from?
I do, yeah.
No matter how much. So my focus is more on how do we plug all those holes in the country, which is costing all our monies to be gone as soon as the money comes in. Because
If we don't plug the holes, no matter how much tax we take, how much money we take in, we'll still have problems with our money because we'll be losing more money than we are making.
That's true, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I can hear a lot of background noise in there.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'll
Anyway,
get I'll get that. Go ahead. I'll give me a minute about this. Let me get.
Okay. So I mean, there are four things that I think is the main problem. I mean, the first one is to do with corruption. The second is misappropriation. The third is mismanagement, and the fourth is inefficiency. So corruption, mismanagement, misappropriation, and inefficiency. Now, Sabane, corruption basically how we waste our money in this we you go and take a loan. For example, you go and take a loan, you could loan say the koye kwai, for say you loan 100 billion, so the koye kwai 100 miles, like 1 million per mile. Now you loan 100 million, so before you can bedu a contractor inside of now best a 25% is off because of a corruption. And then the finance minister also hold on to the money. So before the what do you call it, the contractor even gets the money, more than half of the money is gone through corruption, misappropriation, and underhand dealings. Into quite a 100 million nanka said a quite 100 miles no home. So saying it's a half crack, 50 million a year for 100 miles. Now, 50 million a year, 100-mile road. What will happen is that road and can say a high quality, but last still 20 years, it will even last you 5 years. Now road that's not say you. So basically, you invest in it so that in 10 years time, by 20 years time, you'd have gotten reap the benefits of the road. In 5 years time, not coining in so then you have to take another loan to create the road again. So at the end of the day, a last to 20 years, so 5 years, it's 100 million now, budget best 3 or 4 times just to do the same road. International ball,
if we do that, Ola, still, like, is it advisable for us to keep on borrowing? Because
no, but the point is that as for borrowing, everybody borrows. The point is that when you borrow, you have to use it for something that's positive, that will give you returns. Yeah,
you made that point last week or last 2 weeks, and borrowing there, yes, but at the point to say, like our interest crown has become a problem. Even if we seal all the holes up in our tax collection and in the projects that we put the money in, it's going to take us a long time for us to be solvent enough to pay these interest and the loan itself with ease. It's a bigger problem. So don't you think, sir, we should by now, say we're taking the Champon way. Time I do point to be nobody was giving us money because we refused to pay our debt. So we had to find ways. By Champon had to renegotiate with all the multinational companies, and I from some mining companies and all these people to give us more as far as profit sharing and royalties. And then we started ban importing of food from everywhere, and then we have to, we have to feed ourselves for a while for us to get stable. Kakrano. Don't you think that it's about time saying by now, can I start to sound
that should even take me to my second point. But okay. You see, what do you call it? The first point was on corruption, how it eats a lot of the money, and so our projects are shabby and then it doesn't last long, so we can't get the returns. Second point is on mismanagement. Now, with the if you to even what do you call it, to apply a Champon school of thought, Grana, you still have to be good enough to manage your economy, manage your welfare, manage things properly. Because if you don't manage your stuff, whether you get a loan from outside or you get taxes from your what do you call it, your population, the locals, you still mismanage it and you waste the money.
Okay.
So if you don't learn how to use the money, it doesn't matter where the money is coming from. Because the Champon style means that you get money, while population, you get taxes, but if at the end of the day, Sikane Bana still like the bucket I'm talking about, that's still Sikane you go, then we are still not going anywhere.
Yeah, so
yeah, because even to implement the Champon in our country, you still have to stop mismanaging. Even to be able to do that Champon thing, you still have to stop mismanaging. I mean, so if the mismanagement, then the second point, like we mismanage it. Like, for example, the reason why, like even Bamia was saying, we have a lot of energy sector debt. The reason why we have a lot of energy sector debt is that we bought too many generation plants, because after the doom, so we bought so much generation plants, and we didn't plan on how to use it. Whether we either could have built a lot of high tension poles to export it to Togo or Burkina Faso, or we could have used that excess capacity, could have used it to build a smelting plant for Valco or something, so that excess capacity to be used to power that. At the moment, we are just paying excess capacity, even though we are not using the what do you call it? It's the excess capacity, the excess power generated, which is all eating into our what do you call it? Eating into we are just paying for power we are not using. Nobody's using, but we still have to pay because we signed contracts. And then the contracts that we abrogated, we are paying judgment debts on them. When we a lot of wastage due to mismanagement. So
1D1F, no.
Yeah,
it was centered on manufacturing, right?
yeah.
So we are going to need, according to the government, there have been a lot of factories that he has built. So why are we still complaining about excess power? Because excess energy. Because if you built all these factories, all these factories has to be powered.
Yeah, but those factories don't consume that much electricity. So there are different types of factories that you build that consume. If you are using for smelting, like if you light a kettle takes more energy than if you light up a blender. Now those factories you are talking about, they are what do you call it? They are like blenders. You are turning the motor around. For smelting, you are heating up aluminium. You are heating up there's a bauxite to create aluminium. And it's a byproduct, aluminium and steel and those things. So those ones use a lot more energy generated than what do you call it, the config use, which is just you are just running motors to create a conveyor belt to convey the goods to be processed and all that. Those use less electricity. So even if all those one district ones were done, it will still not take enough of the capacity we have, the excess capacity we have, because it's the type of factories. The type of factory that determines how much electricity you use. Some factories use more electricity than some other ones. So that excess capacity, if we had planned, if we're good managers, would have known that, if Mahama bought too much generating power, the time will come very soon that we'll have to find a way to use that generation power, or else we'll just be paying for power not being used. So we should have planned to use it for something. Either that China bauxite deal thing or something, or exporting it or something, because the power won't be lying there. Once you don't use the power, it just goes away. So we just pay for power we are not using, and we pay large amounts. And that's also one big, because apart from paying for power we are not using, we're also paying judgment debts for some of the generating powers that some of the plants that they canceled the contracts, which what do you call it? The people who we signed the contract with took us to court in the UK, and then they won against us. So we have a lot of judgment debts that we are paying also. I mean, so that's a mismanagement, and lack of long-term planning. It's one of our biggest problems we have in that country. I mean, we don't plan ahead forward. I mean, long term. Everything is just done for the 4-year cycle, for the short term. What do you call it? Aggrandization, and to get votes. When we need people who can plan long term and implement long term plans, because anything done short term doesn't. I mean, that doesn't help us. Our problems are long term, not short term. So that's what we have with that one. Another problem we have with why we have a lot of debt is to do with how we have so much inefficiency in the system. Like, we have too many people doing we are very inefficient in how we spend the monies that we get. So if you get money and then you are not efficient in using it, basically what you do is you are wasting the money. Something that could have been done at a cheaper price, we do it at a higher price. And so when even you get returns from that project, it's still not enough to pay back the amount of money you took for the loan. So, I mean, so it's just basically those four main things: corruption, mismanagement, misappropriation, and inefficiency. Misappropriation is just to do with, like, you go and take the money to build a road, and then you just use it to go and do elections. You're going to use it to pay bribes for elections, or you're going to use it for things that are not really helping you in the short or the long term. But our biggest problems are corruption and mismanagement. Because as for the mismanagement, it goes to everything, even our free SHS program. So because of a lot of mismanagement, it's made the program inefficient, and we are using a lot of money where we could have used less money to implement that program and implement it in the right way. So no matter how you look at it, it will still boil down to corruption, mismanagement. That's it. No matter what style you want to run, whether you want to run a champion style of here government, or you still have to be a good manager. You have to plan long term and apply yourself long term and be disciplined to follow it through, and not to follow the 4-year cycles of vote into we'll stop doing this, and then maybe if we win votes we'll continue, and then the next party comes and then they don't continue the project, and then the project is halfway somewhere. And we've already paid for the project, but because the project hasn't finished, we can't even get the returns on the project. Like, we have the sugar factory at Commander. It's like nobody knows what to do with it. We wasted a lot of money in refurbishing it during the NDC time, and then MVP comes and it doesn't really care about it. We have the same problem with the Vayme Rice project. We have mismanagement problems. Any biggest problem, if you ask me.
Well, me. Anyway, that's very true. Especially with the sugar factory, I get so frustrated talking about it. They say the factory has already been built, so the new government comes in, and his problem is that there's no raw material to process sugar.
No planning, long term.
So what do you do? If I hire a manager, I've already built a factory, and I hire a manager to take care of the factory, and he has all the resources to import sugarcane, import raw materials, and then he takes over the factory and he says there's no raw material, so I'll just let about a $30 million factory sit there and just rust because there's no raw material. I'll fire the person immediately.
There are two issues with that project. One was to do with the no raw materials thing you're talking about, but one also was to do with evaluation. When the new government came, they were saying that this is valued at too high a price, so they can't give it to another company. They can't sell it because it's valued at higher than the price at which it was.
You don't need to sell it. I think the actual plan of the factory was to be run by the government.
Yeah, but then if the actual plan was to run by the government, you see, then the person who should be fired first is the minister in charge of that project. Because before the factory was completed, you should have started planning that it will need raw materials. So we should have started hiring the farmers to start planting the encouraging them to plant the sugar cane, or even
That's
buy
what
the
I'm
land.
talking about. That if I were the president, that I've inherited a factory, the factory is in good functioning form. All that we needed was raw material, and whoever the government before built a factory without thinking of raw material. What I do for now is that the factory is way too expensive for it to rot. Say a pra, that is my boca twice.
Boca twice, yes, that's
Yeah,
basically what we do.
what I would do is that for now I'm going to import sugar. I'm going to import the raw material. What it does is that importing the raw material, and I keep some people working, and the factory
Exactly.
is not going to rot. And
Yep,
while
and then
we're
reduces-
doing that, I think the old government has already given some land for them to build sugar cane. I start planting the sugar cane. And that was about 6 years or 5 years ago. And by now, sugar cane would be 80. So I mean, if I were the president, I would have fired that minister quickly.
You should have. I mean, it's any United mismanagement. No, it's the same process I was talking about. The electricity where we had excess capacity and we could have used it for something else. We didn't use it for. We weren't creative enough to use it for. Because even if the previous administration had made a mistake, you find a way to reduce the cost of it to our country. Like say, why mistake? At least find the best solution so that it won't be as costly to us.
I mean, we used to export electricity to all the 3 countries bordering us, right?
Yeah.
So that means we already have the
transmission lines.
Transmission lines to send it, right?
No, we know you need to build more actually.
Yeah, but
you can use the same lines actually. You need higher capacity ones to transmit.
More efficient one. But at this point, this thing is sitting and rotting. So why don't you just sell it to them for cheap for now?
Because we don't have the transmission lines to send it.
And see, I think you're right. Our problem, the biggest problem, is management and just lack of ideas.
So
or too much. I just don't care.
Yeah, most of the time you're thinking of their 4-year life cycle, like of getting elections, not long term. Because planting the sugar cane, a transmission line, you may not get instant gratification because by the time you finish building it and doing it, another government to come and take credit for it or something else. So there's no incentive for them to do the right thing because they're just thinking of a short.
Why you just said had just introduced unpatriotism to the factors too, because it'd be very unpatriotic to say I'm going to build this, but before I finish, my government be out of power, and so somebody else is going to take the praise for it. So I'm not going to do it at all. Although because government after government, they will come and they'll run out of money, and then we will beat them out all the time. So why don't you put this infrastructure down so that by the time you come around next time, the money that you be making from all these lines. I mean, if we build new lines to our neighboring countries that need power, because I think Burkina Faso has been threatening us of damming. I forgot. Yeah, the Volta for electricity if we don't go back to what we used to do by giving them power all the time. And secondly, Ghana, the whole Ghana the electrification program is not done yet.
Yeah. So
it's not all the whole Ghana that has electrical power. So why can't we just spread around? First of all, as a Minjin deal, I don't think our problem is excess power. It's just the government.
It is excess power. No, it is because some of these plants they are idle, but we still pay for it because the contract we signed was that whether it's running or that it's not running, we pay for it. So some of the plants are idle, but we still have to pay because that's how the contract was negotiated, and that's how those what you call power plant contracts are negotiated. Whether you're using them or you're not using them, it's you're paying for it. But
Yeah, I
you
mean,
see,
if,
the
if,
point
if
is
I'm
that
a private company and I'm going to negotiate a contract with Ghana, that's exactly how I'm going to do it, knowing how
exactly.
the politicians work. I'm never going to say, okay, you can leave it there, I'm not going to pay. They will leave there for 6 years and they will not touch it. And
So,
yeah. And then
but you see,
not like we didn't have an option there.
No, they don't have an option. The what do you call it? The excess capacity, they can't even give it to those people in the north or those people in the private areas because the capacity is so much that some Crawford, they don't even have air conditioners or anything. Or some Crawford, even if you connect light to them, the umbrella some TV in the fridge back on the light bulb best 5. And I don't know. The amount of capacity which is excess is way too much for even if you connect the whole Ghana Accra, there'll still be a lot more excess. So either we're exporting it or we have a lot of factories that are going to take on that excess power. And because we didn't plan, planning and our short-sightedness and our short-sightedness, that's what happened. I mean, you talking about a unpatriotic. Oh, now a Kufo so started affordable housing. I think it was in Koforia or somewhere like that. So a MPP no Abane also say, have they completed it? Did they continue it? If you can even say, okay, NDC are the enemy, so they wouldn't want to continue something that NDC started. But is this MPP government continuing what Kufuor started? No. Yeah, just looking at the projects that for their own short-term, aggrandization, so that they can get their power and get their gets power for the next 4 years. That's short-term thinking. So even if you have a long-term project to even implement in Ghana, it's very hard to implement it because you'll be halfway through the project and then the project will stall and then don't continue it and then because it's all been you've used half of them, you've done half of the project and they didn't continue into not just we keep on building a lot more every time be a government will change because projects are halfway through.
So law bina almost causing financial loss to the state. Is it still in our books?
Yeah, and as that law, politicians no more trauma. I mean, they only use it when it's convenient for them.
I think it's high time we start using it because I think Chikata went to prison for $250,000.
No, my question is why the big use our law? My question is why the big use our law?
I mean, Kufuor used it,
and so you use our law.
On one discount.
Now Attorney General, president in the President has the Attorney General. I mean, all of it take his package. You can say any president na employer. I mean, if the government in charge is not interested in following up on those things, they won't follow it up. So a lot of the true and paper so as to applying it, who has the who is patriotic enough to say, oh, this thing is killing Ghanaians, let's apply this law there. Message. I mean, the only person who was trying to even do something useful was Auditor General Domlevo. Why didn't they kick him out? Yeah, because I mean, one way action. So what's that? Way action now. But the be UFO because almost my guy and they say, now NDC by 4 years or 8 years on be DB. Yes, we are by all the higher grades. Yes, you dear the answer.
Right.
That's how the government has become. Obi about or virginity or be there. No,
whoever. It's the way I mean how the citizens are so enlightened now and they are making a lot of noise. It's are we expecting that whoever forms the next government is going to come and repeat the same things without thinking of consequences?
Oh,
I mean, we saw what happened in the MPP elections. I'm feeling say all these people have won them 2 elections back to back. They are not doing exactly what they told them they were going to do. All the bribes being paid, they still voted them out.
But I mean, is that not the same thing you said after Mahama? Say, oh, you need, you need it. Yeah, Mahama, if you see this, say you cover the bar, I mean, everything will go well, and they will get everything done, everything will be sorted. What's the state now? It's not worse. If it's not the same, it's not worse.
Okay, quick. Will you just you made about 3 points on this topic. Can you just summarize that for us now? So that
okay.
Summarize that narrative, and I won't say anything to add to that so that we can move to the next one.
So all I'm saying is that, I mean, to solve our debt problems, I mean, the main thing is that we first have to plug all the holes which is leaking, all the money that is leaking in our system. And to plug that money that's leaking in our system, all we need to manage is we have to manage corruption and manage mismanagement. Manage corruption, manage mismanagement, and manage misappropriation of funds. If we can just manage those, be disciplined enough to do that, if any politician in the world, in Ghana, wants to do that, it will solve all our debt problems. Because once you are not creating more debt, you can start gathering money to start paying off all your old debts. But if you keep on creating more debt than you are getting money, then your debt will just keep on increasing instead of decreasing. So the earlier we start finding ways to plug the holes and stop this mismanagement and misappropriation, the better it is for the country.
Because survey I saw a survey published on CTFM said this last year, Sika Ometime Tracy in bribes inquire 5 billion Ghana cedis. Ghana received 12-point-something billion from taxes last year. And like they will take about 13 billion. It's nice say about 1 billion Ghana cedis cross us and say it may try interest. So 5 billion we can go directly to a bank of Exma. We could have paid it and have 4 billion left. Internet no credit. If we don't seal all these holes, now good management. I think we'll be stuck in this cyclic problem. And I was say, who will be added to that topic in this one?
Yeah, Madasi, better quick working na Kakramutuma can any next time Biara President be busy on Mandana na Nunia Obabaye Yenska and Rotring or in the Yejitum or the Yin so the Jinane Yebuku. The other than President Nunia or Obadayanano, Obey Finance Minister, or that must yes or the Yejina. Na yebutugu because ono na sisi we kunyen sisi ya because say finance minister already discuss president ontumanka president is going to manka ona sisi olu kutia Ghana nti ye pray to dama ina se pazi ya yama dama zini yen number 1 serious kwame obezi yendam papa kaka mutuma kan na yanko next topic Madasi.
All right. So let's move to the next one. Now, last week Baumia made a speech about Ghana card. Now, Okase, I felt say he was misconstrued. Not Okase, or no, if given the choice of Ghana card, any mention a number of we see overhead. There's a Ghana card and routes. Or Ghana, no, he will choose the Ghana card over the routes because Ophelia said the Ghana card will bring us more back than the route, and it became a big debate. Obia AKB, and I don't know. So if Moti, yes, I'll have to find a video and play it. Now, me person me from my dream because this debate has been going on. I've listened to one lady, she was talking about why she think the Ghana card which Ghana card and your card it signifies the apex of digitalization of a country. Say, yeah, now you can actually find people. Ubi ba na or the card number mawa, you can trace the person out to fee to could you loan and it's it's going to be easier because the banks can actually trace you. So because it will be if your card is registered to your vehicle, now that could be somebody be now somebody can get your number. You can be traced all the way. Into normal feelings any a better chain. Just building roads, networks around the country. Giving a choice. I think that this first of all, that debate, is a little misplaced. There shouldn't be a choice between the two. We should have both of them. But let's discuss this in that context. Say, if we had just one choice to make, or which one are you going to do first, the Ghana card or the infrastructure? Any one of you can start with it.
Okay. What's my personal phone? Ghana card. To me, Ghana card. Quite my main there was where Ghana card and Marian John. Simply because Sir Echo Banker or Ghana card number no warden on the Zibo account. Na Ikroma house in your wabuchi, near the monot so Echo Banker on your code no warden was a boy account was amo. Who do honor wrong? Time in the moon do honor wrong because say ye penny because and the ma Kwame Ibinya Ukoda welcome Wakelo cra America Kakrea one your card being be very important. What happened?
Now, with Mr. Mamimbo video, and they know where you're coming from.
Digitalization, not for its own sake, but as a vehicle to solve problems faced by ordinary Ghanaians and transform the economy. Through digitalization, government has been able to solve many problems that have faced Ghanaians. Some of the problems go back to the period before and since independence. We inherited a problem of no unique national identification system. This had been with us since independence. We have implemented the national identification system of the Ghana card. And we have today 16 million Ghanaians with unique identities. And that is a major transformation. A lot of people sometimes don't even appreciate what the impact of the Ghana card is. But if you gave me 1,000 interchanges and a Ghana card, I'll choose the Ghana card because it has more impact on the.
So Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia there speaking, and of course, as you would expect, his comments have generated such a storm on social media. Dennis Wedam, he is a member of a news planning desk. He's joining me. Dennis, you've been studying some of the comments that have been pouring in since the Vice President made those comments. What are some of the running themes?
Very typical of the Vice President lectures. Each time he speaks, the conversation that follows is usually one that is very, controversial, if you want to put it that way. But I think yesterday, the highlight was the fact that they were responding to the comment he made about the Ghana card being a preferred policy to even having 1,000 interchanges. And the conversation, specifically on Facebook, has been very interesting. People are making light of the comments, and if you permit me, I read from some of the Facebook users. For instance, Sadiq Musa writes, I was actually not surprised when Alhaji Bawumia said he will choose the Ghana card over 1,000 interchanges. What still amazes me is the fact that over 30 adults willfully clapped to approve this joke. Hey, Ghana. And this comes with a picture of the person holding a Ghana card and trying to insert it into the fuel pump of the car. Another person writes, this is Ohineba, our citizen, writes, the Vice President yesterday said 1 Ghana card is better than 1,000 interchange. So I woke up this morning to cook my Ghana card, aka 30 minutes now, bang. My stew is ready. Try it. It's working for all NPP members. So this one is from Ohineba Iyao, citizen, also writing on Facebook, trying to suggest that yes, now the Ghana card can do a lot of things, including he preparing it as food for himself. There's also one coming in from Blessing Nana Ansa, and this person writes that still waiting for the Ghana card to generate into my ECG card. Please, do you have Bawumia's contacts? Please, maybe she messaged a friend and asked if the friend can help. And this is the Ghana card together with the ECG card put on one table and the picture taken. So yes, essentially, these are some of the things that people have been talking about to suggest that the Ghana card is now, as the Vice President put it, it's the must-have document now. And if you have it, you don't have to worry about anything. But I think that's really the basis, the point that Vice President was trying to make about the grand agenda of digitalization.
So now how was it? Pacho, continue. Why?
Yo, Marty. And see, there was why a Ghana card. In fact, maybe I should have John Papa or Ghana card. No, fine. I get a card. I call banker. What you will be so na actually what you will account am wabra. By there was a pin number, so that me pin number na. What you will account am na. In fact, I mean, but in premise am there. Ghana card and ben. Ne hinya you buy a bank account. Hinya ye you kwedwuma mo wo for in edwuma. Nti Ghana card no mo wa for edwuma na da Ghana card no buy account was am on. Kwame Ghana card no won for so dem or kana. Baby Ojina Kane, Kwame, Yansenasi. Yet the membrane or dog Kadama Asama. Kwame, I'm now here, Wabuchra, and Kitakada, which may share all yo. But on Chilade, above when your road wadi. One child above when you interchange. Wah, Nini na Okoba, or then left and right. Nini or support each other. By intimate and choose one circle there, one circle no here channel. Papa no one can say, Yamini. When you know how to talk or kasa, so to say, anyhow, no that to from him, why debating on Kofu Jojo. More I am no one yam one in the or career on the throw, or feed a gun of a joke. Because ma oil young in there, elephant, yet the Ghana card needs to your there bay. On yet is so your there by a Ghana card. A shay yambo. There be a better road. Mahama ye no kita damasiki or the Amazon. However, Damaskin a binya as I road more than not for Sabes canon, not for this canon punichaka, but abandon a CCR eloquent dem road. Nella Bogana Kadaba abosable. Come in, fit last with Mubufu. Papa no Nimikasa, or the young man point. By point, when you how work as a child and no manful. And bring me baby a Ghana Gina and your Ghana card on Wassam. Ellie Yampo, way in slow was it. Man, friend, be and friend, baby. Ghana was visited at the 1 year Ghana card, Kwame was z. 1 year Ghana card, no was to hospital. 1 year Ghana card, ne road and wire the dado. And men phone 2 as a fine day, a butcher's Ghana card than road. Baumia oil na, Sebu, onion or food print about London, and America, Basan, one yaraba. So hospital no Sua into a bed in a waba. Because Munimas or Proes or Pre Yajo, and a passport no sa, one country and a passport so, no one knew for some, Ghana card no one for such a passport. As some pro catch and one country. Yeah, my digitalization and what does?
I think say Ghana card in particular card not kekera na oka ho ase. Opeso check say data na with the data that we can get, the kind of database na ebenya no, a better more valuable.
Yes, Kwame oye no kwa molecular oye no kwa ba nye dam timing no was a kadama masam pramakai. Dam time ye gina mi nye dam time na as a basro Ghana fo. Nye bi na o say chemi say wo buru ni a o say mi kokwa ka ye interchange. Me why don onya Ghana card ma wan. O say chemi say wo buru ni why the one so Ghana card an come one day. One Ghana card no obobo one. No say mi kokwa ka ye road no za ma wan. No na nyansan sebio ma okay although sometimes about me jibi na ezim kwasesam na onye bi se about me jina ezim da ma kwasesam e bi bo waso na agi wonyo odo ka motuma kan papa o me hwe ne kese kondo ye na obaye panyin daachi
Okay, I tell you. O say mensa bonsu de and then nyame adom o ma pass na minority ne block. Is a minority is the same no. O de sika ba se o kwa akodi loan a say loan num ewodin. Enti and then loan I think $750 million mo approve you all. Was it $750 million and I see so mo approve you parliament no. Me will say swami road nation sunti no. So I'm before we know about it.
nti why the one for Ghana card na shadow
What's a Ghana card here?
they be I don't know what is shadow they Ghana card am so for nti one better pay one no war blow one wo baby with us
all right quick am akwansa na wakwana
Yeah, be my kwansa yeah I mean the problem here is that your product and your service. Products always come before service. Services are built on products. Well, not saying we've all forgotten that product services are built to bring convenience to products. And for example, say Uber app not only no matter how good the service of Uber is, the car won't get to your
thank you, bless you,
to your hometown, wherever you are. It's you always need an underlining. Even banking is a service, but without having what do you call it, factories and human beings who are coming to save, and then factories where you're going to loan to, your service is not useful. Every service needs a product underneath it to bring convenience to the product. So every service, IT is just service. It's an addition to the manufacturing and to infrastructure and the hardcore things we do. IT just brings convenience. It brings more information on how to manage those products. It's a service built on products. That's what we're not understanding. So without the infrastructure, there's no point in having the service, because without telecommunications, IT doesn't exist. Without electricity and telecommunications, if you don't have that hardcore infrastructure, IT doesn't exist for anything. It's built on top of it. So it's misplaced to say that. I mean, it's a big misplacement to say that. The son is more important than the father. I mean, seriously.
Without the father, you don't get the son.
Yeah, without the father, you don't get the son. I mean, to pay property tax, like the Ghana card, it will help you pay property tax. But to even get to charge a property tax, there needs to be a house, there needs to be a road to get to the house.
That's what it is.
I mean, before you can even find the house where you use the card to charge the person the property tax. So the foundation in ultimately see then go. I mean, so the whole speech doesn't make that much sense, because it's like you just compare two things. Yeah, two things which have nothing to do with each other. I mean, a service. I mean, a service industry doesn't exist on its own. It exists to support what do you call it, infrastructure or a factory or something tangible. So to me, I think we are just playing around and it's just for scoring political points. When it's basically it's nonsense. We were speaking. He was speaking just nonsense. But I mean, we just made it into political football, and then we are playing around with it when we have more important things to talk about.
Yeah, people. I heard someone saying, "Say because there was a lot of noise around some 5 interchanges or some 3 interchanges that were promised to be built in Kumasi, and the Kumasi people were making a lot of noise about it before the elections, before the MPP elections they had." He was trying to make the point, say, we've done bigger things than that. So why dwell on this thing that we haven't done whilst we've
still
done this?
uncalled for.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing bigger. If you don't have basic infrastructure, no matter how good your IT is, you're not going anywhere.
That's what it is.
Mhm.
That's
You're
simple
not
as
going
that.
anywhere because IT is built on infrastructure. I mean, you're not going anywhere. I mean, so thinking you can just jump without infrastructure and go to IT is nonsense, because then what are you building the IT on? I mean,
Very nonsense. Very, very nonsense.
Okay, Amma.
My brother just said all that. Because if me say when I landed in Canada some years back, those of us that had opportunity to step on a car in Ghana before coming, it was kind of easier for us to get a driver's license. Those days, no Ukoji driver's license. There is no picture side there. It was only your date of birth, your address, That was it. The whole card was blank. Not before no Abrafone Shada Meki the face differences on our faces then. So what I say? Sir Obi Yakoko Kakra to say me. Nipa no beko register with Nidini Bibia. Me mekwa drive na me pass na me de amano. But that was still Canada, where their database was, I would say, very solid then, because everybody have their social insurance number and know when I got here. And their roads were still getting built, and up to date, their overheads are still getting built. So what did American assume? But they were still building once they keep updating the system. And me say almost na so crash steady crowd who say, oh sir, microphone crowd jama bebre na beye test ne the microphone nti e wo hwa na ansa na mo implement license afa de wo kwa ye betwa picture ni bem na chese wontimi nkoye ma obi abio. So we did the American asio. But still they were still moving forward, building overhead and roads and stuff like that, where so we do a 30 minutes I will do 20 I will do, instead of using 30 minutes for an hour or 2 hours before you get it. So when we say the Abrafojay, Omanka said their database is good until they have done enough. They will not project and continue building their country. It is a what way to kwaya baba na broche how ako school ha na ye bu so ye nimde ni now kasa asem ya. Ya kasa one can and then people will be defended. Like really? It just doesn't make sense, because that guy was educated and once married to a white woman and all that. That's what I heard or read about him. It is on no or four people if he say when you're solid. Even when he said when you're solid database in Ghana now, it's still nothing compared to the one who said we could do. It is such a statement coming from him. No, I am very sad. Just as our brother said, I am very nonsense.
It's yeah, so I'm awful. Mels. Anyway, I think because most of the arguments that I've listened to are in countries that have a solid infrastructure base. It is Dubai, and I say United Arab Emirates. Digitize it so much, so it's better than everywhere in the world. They have the best road networks in the world. So I think productivity, is more important than everything.
Everything, because people, just as our brother said, we can't do when it comes to technology. Crampodia, so no, Nasia Nabaya solid we are even finding a way to upgrade more. It's almost person try and say without the database, people were not making their system before we came. People were not building up.
Let's take Amazon as Amazon. It dwells all its system on a good database. But still, Amazon, it has to be driven to you.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to find a way, one way or the other, to reach you, no matter what. Anything I make us a bit. Let's say the other the other MP no mo no who they know. He's in Kumasi. He have very common name.
So I'm MP no.
No. The one with the new radio station now.
Want to me.
Thank you. Let's say so. Want to me no kaka way. You and I will laugh and wouldn't say much about it because you saw your comment. This is a comedy thing. But when it comes to somebody that we education and everything to some of us that have had a little. Into say your face ukuta PhD, masters and no now. We see you a little extreme. Into we expect more from you. Me say to me way I would just laugh and say, oh, he's just talking. It wouldn't be a big deal. But coming from Baumia, come on now, that's a big deal. That's a slap on our faces.
So I think we need a good database. I don't think anybody has made an argument in Ghana saying we don't need a good database. We need that. But productivity, in order for productivity to be very effective, we need a solid infrastructure. And at the moment, the infrastructure is nothing to write home about. If you want an example, one of the best routes in Ghana is driving from Kumasi to Accra, and in the way the roads are. And it is over to Amazon and buy something within some few minutes because you have a good database. Now, take 2 days. And I saw me take a month normally and get any attractive. That business model wouldn't have worked.
Product the crab say do.
I say do. Even do if you die spy. I mean, for database is to make productivity easy. It
enhances.
It enhances it. It's you guys say, oh, and I mean your route because I have a good database. What's a good database if we can't get from A to B? It makes no sense.
Let's I forget. What him say your database no kramo mugusu kano. Almost see those Vodafone and stuff like that have access to most of our database stuff. And a while ago, one guy was very arguing about it because Sophie said those companies are selling Ghanaians information out. We have.
I mean that argument has come. I think one day we should just find some.
What work did Baumia and his co actually did to rectify all those? And some of us are back when your database is
I mean, we had
it's 1,000.
We had driver's licenses. So those database, so registered driver's license, you have to take your birth set and everything. And then, how many times have you registered to vote?
That's the thing.
A lot of times.
Those
all those databases, no. I think reconciliation of all our databases. I think we have to discuss that another time.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big problem because basically what you're doing is you're creating duplication.
Yeah.
And then you're also creating because you can't manage all the databases, one may end up falling into external hands. Then you have so many you have to take care of, and how we manage our database, our IT systems is so flawed because basically what we want to do is everybody wants to have a contract to make money out of it. So most of it is just procurement. Tax office, GRE4 different database. Now a voters ID for so your mom different database. Now Ghana a card for so your mom different database. Now when we could have just done a unified card system, which will work for all of them.
Yeah. And why do people have to do a registration card or voters card every 4 years or those things and waste money?
I think at this point, almost they've registered about 15 million Ghanaians. And with time, all that is going to stop. We just live to see. So almost I got on your registration viewer. Anyway, I think we've exhausted that topic, so we should move on to the next one. We might have to refer back to this topic anyway, because we had a very monumental election in Ghana. It was just the MPP election. No? There were some big seismic changes. People were surprised that these changes were made, and people are saying, "So this is a sign." Say the new Ghanaian, the average Ghanaian, knows what he wants, and at this point in time, they are not going to hesitate to get what they really need. There are people who almost say, "Oh, Charlie, this thing has been done before." At the end of the day, we didn't see any result. I don't think that we are going to spend a lot of time on it, unless somebody can put a spin on it and make it a longer topic. But what do you think? Election there, of course, the changes that we made, were you expecting them? I mean, we all knew said they had to make some changes, but as to whether they were going to be able to do them or not, Obi Adwin said it was going to be the same thing. Ghana all talk, no work. But this time, it look as if said they made those changes. Is it a reflection of how the new Ghanaian is going to behave? And I said this was just a fluke.
Yeah, Kwame, I want to on the party. So what to tone? So bet you or one person.
Good answer.
But now that was it. So party, political parties in Ghana. Even if you are not a part of it, you still have a stake in them. Because what they do is say, Omukoyi sebi kwasi bia se onkoye candidate. He's going to be a president of everybody. And it's whatever they are doing, it was
Is it not happening already?
Yeah, I mean we've seen a few. Is your more problem. But at the end of the day, when they win the election, I don't know about the president, and it's going to be our problem now.
Yeah, Kwame, when you president, you party nankasa no mumba, obacha wankasa one board do one party, one busy one
party paying for the bitna cabinet.
Matter say, it was American. Instead of John Wood, no cabinet.
Oh, cabinet,
yeah, the American. But one person, I bear what we have one person watching one worry because it's a John Wood result when more and more paper no different. Just watch what paper don't for a different. No more one that cares you different. Into one casa, but one team what that's one team. The man in America there, one casa was one team for one put over your pay. I'm a monkey can be more when Abana one or 2 years, Kasa. Jessica was saying the amount of money one casa within party. Wofu egu wa bra Kwame school mo fam 1 years benenzi. Hwe last video mazemo sankatin kono sa fite na wa hol na tarama ninwan. Kwame is very sad. Let me tell you. Sika wofu egu woni wa. So wakada was here Ghana ye was this factory by 5 mpa nchamfa so babon. Na wana was someone Kwame mama munko Kwame one kasa one bancha.
How am I to turn it there? One problem.
I want one problem.
Okay.
Everything Anna said, we need commit to be accountable.
Yeah, I practically do not know those people. I knew nothing about. I hate both MPP and then this to begin with, so I pay less attention to whatever it is that who is this, who is that. Trust me.
All right, but maybe say like they were complaining about the people they had.
Oh.
That the reason why the government is not being able to pull its weight is because the party was supposed to put pressure on the government, because whatever the government does reflects on the party.
That's why the party puts people on the cabinet to make sure, say, the government is doing what the party planned for the government to do. Until they know, say, there are people that they put in the government are too soft, so they have to change them. And that amount for doing, say, they will go to the election, people will be bribed, and then they will put the same people they are complaining about back there. But they actually made some changes. And I thought, say, you know, it's worth talking about, but with what's going and I was saying, I said, I thought wrong.
But not too long ago, maybe a few months back, those young guys started rejecting their rices and then things they used to bribe them with, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So that kind of make me join this whole talking that the more we talk, people are saying one way or the other, there will be enlightenment somewhere. So seeing this, let's say people are talking and definitely there's some changes or improvement the end of it, or maybe that's why. Right?
Kwame, yes. Kwame, Papa, you way in no better than what you know, so no so you pay no MPP.
Yeah, no, that board we are no.
Not so the board though.
I had said no. I think no is CEO for a company. I had said his company did very well. Intino and Intino don't fully said. Anyway, let's move on from that. Bribery and corruption. I think say Kweku has said a lot about it, but I don't know if this is going to be shocking to you or not. But according to a survey that was done last year, in bribes in Kwa the Omutimi Tracy and
Kwame Oka Sembo.
Now me kate.
A very surprise and mama last say mama. According to survey be or Ghana, it just last year bribes in Kwa Omoje or Ghana amounted to 5 billion cedis. Putting it in perspective of 5 billion cedis, what it does to Ghana, say yeah kaya de interest I see you loan no I into IMF no. 12 billion. Now 5 billion go for the show bottom by 5 billion, which is almost half of kaya de. I can 5 billion directly to Abaya. And as me sure say amount for mutual bribe, they pay bribes so that they don't pay a bigger sum. We had a potential of making more than 12 billion. By bribe on 5 billion. And I make us say meaning say bimwa mo enye say me I'm worried about the quantum of it. Say Ghana corruption cause of power. By the quantum of it, say 5 billion in there. Man, to me who am and I wanted to put it out there and some more comments be about it.
Yeah, Kwame Pocho, about my church and baby out bribe of
no $5. Hey.
Yeah, Kwame, about my church and baby out private of Philaba. If you have often size, if you officer, then you are carbon. I am from of Philaba.
Bribes are a Jew or Ghana.
But one shredder, Dama ministry, I had a bribe watching a see. One church working in Abumuko.
Or can in Abumuko.
And see a Benny young minister crowd watch a bribe and a cassine. You to me, Tassi.
I don't think so. We need that to make It's a problem if they say no $5 billion and Kwani do a bribe. It's a problem. It doesn't say we in a Jeff 1 billion or wage 2 million. It's still a problem. The quantum of a dose way too much. And to say Okongana na Oko Ebia Municipal Assembly be and I say Oko government institution be so Okoyade. Now your Joe bribe now for compliment you bia at first Oko what to say a bribe will be no ubitia na ayo hu so obi che normal ukone ya kasi juice ka obi ate aro ka so ja wenti on be frustrate you so utia no utia
I mean when the Anas was in charge of people about Ghana kakra but what permanent if you had why more in Anas principle no wa in the bribe no do battle kakra because if bia bosro as already kakra because Anas started was rebel na if you echo office bi wo wa empokuno nyimu o slow or pro you can pepe but we kick Anas if system no man half you can as no why more dem na mu because bia nslo bio
and the auditor general now kicking it out so
yeah domino vote so wakanda yeah so it's bia nslo hwe bio
na na was it we the bibi kakra si aso mu cheche mu kakra say wo hwe a dodo na Ghana immigration say most of the corrupt services in Ghana immigration and
yes
any GRA Ghana revenue omo the tax no
Ghana immigration number 1
and Ghana GRA omo the tax no Ghana Revenue Authority number 2 Sikana ye kaninya Ghana citizens 5 billion Ghana citizens Sikana ye kaninya 37.4% if we Ghana immigration.
Are we talking about bribery or are we talking about corruption?
Bribery, just bribery. Bribery.
Oh,
okay.
Just bribery. Oh, 5 billion American corruption. Okay.
Okay, Kwabe. But as this I'm a baby making a man under motum make chunk of football kakra. Kwame, and you hear was here digitalization was happens.
That's a good one.
And so abandon immigration or one year dama a human or one or one wager driver neckers.
GRA, among the tax.
When they be on a way dama da a abazabas when it be on a way. She said one first car and first car cash and could be so way in the mumu. Elutria way away the mumu was a moment. Into a banana wood cheer now. Still was a ugudu. Quite fantastic.
Hello, the funny thing. What new regents now?
What's all?
You be hard to know. Oh, no, what you bribe papa? All the regents.
Nti that man dictator na area na abam fa so na won because we bodo wo there sisi e pede etua etwa ni mamu wo mamu na bi ato a ebotumi etua e ka your passport a o dey that man e your mamu e se ni wusika fa ha e dey nya na ba omi ozo be dede ya nti obane na ohon na ama twedo muti e me
me say custom
probably system no
custom panel the whole crampo na almost started digitalization yeah Baumia Kenya and how it would have helped a lot.
I think that place is already fully digitized.
But they are still stealing money. Because so so you do visa or anything. They will not give you the actual price that is the fixed price. Penny so me or no best science to stamp no what price or beju. The obeju passport any information the akonosu of the obeji. I'm said the obe package now or the akosi penny des and so or the obeji.
I'm from Guru Boys.
So you see.
I'm crying first.
So you see, Anka and no a honor started free hall with the pot now. And no nadia sika be more. So digitization a more where they can give an account to what is coming in and can no more beboa. But the way I will be a bonne boafa, no be a caso you wouldn't mean is for say brano. Until said that is done day. No matter how we can talk and nothing good will come out of it. It's with us.
So we should just accept it and move on.
No, we should just accept. That's why when people are saying, "Oh, almost so bad," I've been fighting that.
That
is the main reason why I keep fighting. Say, oh, most Samu Subaya, and recently, Mr. Pastor B. said, "I'm in my bonnet outside about, or see, will be a bokonqua saying Tino or no soya bonnet, and I will be our two be on a whole lot of things." But Uko Togo. If you go to Togo, Nasa will bet 14 tomatoes. The Uko first shop, nothing tomatoes near 10 cedis. All the shop now back on near 10 cedis. But Ghana, 10 tomatoes back. Or be our price or DJ. You see the difference between who we are?
Right.
Because even the common prices, no crumple, we can't regulate it. And this is what Bawumia is supposed to be doing. Since he can't handle the economy anymore, or this digitization, this is what she should be paying attention to. Not to be talking about how many thousands interchange the card is worth for. Yeah, it's a matter of saying China happen, but it's so much of a mess. Something must start from somewhere. A certain work must be done to clear that off. And so now I think it would be better because you're crazy. We can't stop talking about it.
And you think digitalization is not doing that job?
They should digitize well. And we wouldn't be hearing about those corrections anymore. Then we can see the improvement. And I said, their digitalization.
Yes, all the computers are down, so we have to do this. Manually.
They will find a way.
But couldn't be a so computer.
And that is who we are, because certain things are not put in place. And who blame our buying? No, be so Jina Hosa was so buying then you now can be on there. Meanwhile, no, I'm not person your easy way out. Telling people to change their mindsets. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and do nothing, but you change your mindset and it will be okay. And that's a simple, easy way out.
Right. Okay, Kweku.
Yeah. My question back to can be sir. You see, this whole has to do with systems. Because digitization, basically what you are doing is you are implementing systems. Yep. In fact, one example, if you work in any company, a company's checkbook needs 2 signatures. You need 2 signatures to sign before you can go to a bank to go and withdraw the money. The reason why we put in place those systems is that we know human beings can be dishonest, and then one day if it's only 1 signature, he can go and write all the money to himself and run away. And run away to Barbados or somewhere and go and hide, or Colombia or somewhere and go and hide and chop all the money. But the reason why they put that 2 signature system on the check is that it reduces the chance, because you need another person to sign the check and make sure that the amount you are taking is the right amount for the right purpose. So you can't just go and pull out all the company's money and run away with it. You put systems in place because you know human beings and temptation will can take away a human being's morality. It's in the education system. Now, so if you're going to implement IT, now one fast systemic thinking and implementing IT now, you have these problems. If you just use the same system you're using and just implement it as an IT, then you're not doing anything, you're not helping anybody. Because you see, for example, a passport, this a fill it from the online, just a Masako embassy. To go and pay for transporting the passport back to posting the passport back to me. If you design a system like that, you are not using the advantage of digitization. The advantage of digitization is say, what you fear, not what you have through a credit card. You wouldn't meet anybody who asks for a bribe or who what do you call it, asks you what do you call it for a favor or anything, because what you can now which you don't have to go through any middleman, any government worker or anything. That the fact that you don't have to what do you call it see other people means that it reduces the probability of that way. And you implement a system which is just like the old one, which encourages corruption. Then what's the point in implementing the digitalization? Because digitalization is to bring in convenience, but also improve the systems in your, what do you call it, in your company or in your government or in your ministry. Now, so if digitalization, we are implementing it and we are not building systems which are anti-corruption and more robust, then what's the point in doing digitalization? Then we are just doing it for fun. Because, I mean, the point of digitalization is that so you don't have to have middlemen, you don't have to meet people. You can do everything at your home and then it will be posted to you back at home. You apply for your passport at home and it will be posted back to you. Or you apply for a driver's license, you get everything done and then it's just posted back to you. You don't need to go and see another human being who asks for a bribe or asks for a favor or asks for something. But if you don't create those systems and if you don't use digitalization to create those type of systems, then there's no point in wasting our money doing digitalization. That's basically where the problem is, because then
it makes a lot of sense. Mamusa Ghana, especially, because there's no transparency in prices of government service. Okay, you said that me Bob Walker Sabia, it's me Bob Walker Sabia amount. Yeah, I can say, okay, this is how much it costs. They're not going to give you, like, there's no transparency as to how much it actually costs. If you know, no, be up for say, you know what, that's 10,000 Ghana. You know, if you
Obi online also say, Yenye Ghanaians. Now, when was the last time we pay something to the government?
I can't say Onyanko Lands Commission that, you know, Uncle Lands Commission, you pay more bribes than how much the land costs. Mount a mail the type of time, maybe a mail, you've not had the experience, and it's just not happening. It's happening a lot. Me, I've been a victim and in these 3 months. Anyway, what they do, they say, okay, on paper, I don't need to pay 200 Ghana. Okay, they will tell you, say, you have to pay 1,000 Ghana. Then on your way out, somebody will come and meet you out there and tell you, say, you know what, give me 100 Ghana, and then give me 200 Ghana for me and my boss. We can sort this out for you. No, Majo, extra 200 CDs without for them doing the same job that they will do for you if you don't pay them anything. It's, you know, if you are not working with ABA government association, say you cannot pay. There are some governmental offices of Kruma and your credit or debit card that they are not accepting. They don't accept cash, period. It's, you know, either you're paying, you're high school, no, and one of our accountants, I'm saying maybe school, they say accountant be. Before I'm about to school, I say accountant be I mismanage some can be my action not to. So what the school was doing, they say, now I was say yes, I check me on me no bank or Ghana anything. Is it cash? You have to go to the bank basically and go make a check.
No, was Amo. Yeah.
That time, Ghana, you need debit and credit card. You have to go do that. Now they start checking out. The school wasn't accepting cash anymore.
You know, Barclays Bank, no, Bank of Ghana, never came.
They weren't accepting cash anymore. So why are government? I think that government has to be blamed for this. Why are government agencies making their agents accepting cash at their offices? Indeed, that was just to buttress, not that he needed buttressing, but that's buttress Kweku's point. Say, if you build a system in such a way, say there is no allowance for somebody to steal money, inflate prices, or take a bribe. You know, one could share any panel, and as what your CK area, there's no way or meet me CK do. But
Kwame,
I think this is
Kwame,
conveniently.
may more from one passport recently.
Mhm.
May me be a levy. Well, one was from there because I may pay because date was some was my man. I'm dating them premazi. Massa count other mazi one paper swade. Kwame, or pound 2 days were from us in the paper snapshot. Jordan Mutres for no so print. Kwame metina abrocha nche me me so azusu me yana me za feel form so wade nti me yana da odo me se ne sika no ko me se ne sika no ko aze chia na was bro na the papers no wa hemfa na ono no wa print on ye.
Yeah, because they'll always make some. They'll always make some.
Excuse.
They'll put some roadblock there for you to pay before they do it. And then that and I think that the example I mean make your school almost say accountant be misappropriating coming out to me for the school didn't want to deal with cash anymore. So I think your friend of the banker's check or then.
You go to the, was a friend.
Yeah, you go to the bank, you pay your money, they give your friend banker's draft.
Draft.
Thank you, Dr. Bakus. You go, you make the draft and you bring to the school, and they never had that problem again.
And America has way. Dama. You know.
I don't know, porter. This is a bag load of money. Now wait, once you can just go online and pay everything with your credit card or with a bank transfer from your bank directly to the port account. Your taxes are GRA. You can just pay directly to the account. They say now Mumu Abe. So you can just do that. But anyway, that's besides the point. I think we've beaten this horse way too much. It's I think we've exhausted all our points right now. But let me bring this one in. Minority, here. I mean, it's not just minority. Parliament, see, the government, Eddie, Sikebiaba, and was set a dean Shesika, no say a Bejisika, who book office near using the Kakanka Cardio. Internet, pass one loan. They gave the government the chance to go ahead with the loan, and it had that loans meaning it will be attached to it. Do you guys think that will solve the problem? And I say, because with this finance minister now, they open our account for no, or the names do you think that's what I personally think? Do you think that this is going to change anything?
If I be able to answer baby kakra, na ye sika as I was the airport in this I'm fine, yeah. Near the Bremen or there, because I'm scared I'm as I'm fine. It's woman couldn't touch her. The man if be matasi. But if I be so, the American, Obutum was the BBA bakake. They in here damage as a care, that's one fine year. It be or say chairman on another because on a niska count. Ne dama n'interchange ne ka ho nti dama is kind of wallegin because we born is in room there was a care swami akwan wo ho nti na me bi se there so chairman say wan bro na when twenu nsa nti was nizin kwa aka kanwa dama kuma se kokosefo no want was nizin kwa aka kanwa isi se other Ghana you take okay maybe a babo and I am bo mo fon tuado
to make it very short.
Into Monfontiado. Sagana youth in Yasa Yazan. Ya started the yellow bringing in peace in soup. In fact, why a budget I want for one count. Into region Bian started over bringing MP in soup. And I chefua, one chefua, one from going to tomatoes chefua. Naya from bringing MPs, obey a quan was I mean. Kwame. Mana to nebin kebi.
All right, Ama.
Makwekum brother ama busy.
Yeah, Kweku.
Yeah, the Makweku say busy. You be a library.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think we've had a very fruitful conversation and see, I thank Mama Basina. Normally, let me put the link in our biomanca. I always put the link here. It will be to say mail. If you want to come on and you have something to say, you can always come on and say it. I am post the link, or messages. You click on it, and then you can come on. Facebook, so you click on the link, and it will give you access to come on and make your receipt. If you have something to say, you can come on and just say. As usual, we're just coming on and making this a great program. The Father Baku's Mel and Mr. Isaac Tia and Ubia Obas to just make some comments. Just keep on doing it every week. Next week, same time. Ever since Asia, it will be and then the papa.
No, na benyuma. Hey, michia me yellow butu. Elmina.
Nanya.
Michia na papa.
It's Yami Aduma. Same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Ready? Here we go. I see I don't go be percent or the miko. Kodimi siko.
I was out for 11 months away in quickly. I got this book from Amazon about a week ago. Living the High Life. It was written by Jesse Weaver Simply. I've met this gentleman before, a professor at some Pennsylvania University. And it's very interesting. Ghana music were captured from top to bottom. Now, he didn't ask me to do this. I just started reading. I picked one and read chapter 1. And it's so great. See what I should be if you get a chance. This is just get this book. How hip life start to Ghana. I mean, even if you're not a fan of the music, just following the story was very well written. And there be your problems in Ghana for you and shut down through books. This is a very wonderful book. In that time. Maybe to second hand. Give it on $5. I think the new one is about $20 or less. Just buy it. I mean, it's very wonderful. It's an awesome. It will be
Yeah, I'm Kwame Mapocho. Yana yenyi busy into me yankan book ni yana. Or one who audio or but me here.
Audio book. Teacher me check here. So audio book.
Mama ne check na here. Because sometimes you wait my but me yet.
Wait me yet. Only mostly so. Yeah, aya. Emma omunya audio book. It depends on the sale of the book. And to say two books no more. and I'm more interested some by audiobook because doing the audiobook is going to cost them some money too.
By Sister Kwame Asha, new apps are happening why in audio a prayer. My father read the book here. Motimas Mufone chat. Modu training ya baba na me read why in audio. Yeah, because mo na man for any time is here for a book out one I can it's a all quantum.
I know, but it's a different experience.
Almost obey why you more.
What's the way all kind sentence and the way I apply punctuations, you know.
Yeah, true.
We are there very different.
True.
Yeah, but they might have an audiobook. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I might have it. You know. But I heard said there's a documentary about it. And then they mean who yet.
That's good. That's good.
Very wonderful. Bina, Madame Fubina, recommend the mommy. Mel even came out.
Yeah, betcha the papa.
Yeah, well, book lesson in case I can cry. Come here,
it's a record. Yeah, betcha the papa.
It's now was a one day, me at time I'm reading chapter. Be I'm reading aloud. Nobody attended. And secondly, on Tuesday, 7:00, we found a rare, very rare Ghana pre-Ghana colonial history book. Yeah, it's about the Anglo-Ashanti Wars, even wars before the before the white people got to our
land.
It's about the culture, how things were moving, proper history by eyewitnesses. You're trying to come on Tuesday. We do it in Tree. We have a professor that reads it, and Wafa Enemy will do a little debate on some of the things the chair doing with me. It's very, very educating. Into Unya timer on Tuesday, 7:00 in the morning. Just put us on loudspeaker and just go about your business and listen. It's very, very, very. And trust me, I bring some comic relief to it. And my head. And I was used to once a while or jump room, especially because most of the history happened around where we are now was different. Say you can't wear the be and the context be not and now was the back no it's very, very nice. Yami Adoma Tuesdays ever trust. And then find you we see another call.
Yeah. Me so my penis so one money on the set. Minini kontia meti miko. But she say why me? Now me yourself will be your friendly. Take me on a date so you could know me. The band is saying I feel there. We are my matchy break. But me say no please. Open up with the music low key. When you lipstick with tight jeans. So the bama media. Me so me will straight. Me say ya tinya don't go be pese. Only me go. Okodimi siko. Yeah. Me so my penis so one man on the set. Minini kodia meti miko. Bami on set. Yeah. Oh, bami on set. Yeah. Let's go. I will be the Shamany over. No other man. Matthew should do my day. Find your papa and never tell me do ya. See, you are coming, man, Shammy. Other papa, they would not come. Me do ya. See. You are coming, man, Shammy. Other papa, they would not come. See, I don't go be the set. All the go. Yeah. Me so my business, so I'm my name on the set. Meaning it way.
Yeah, it's a high life, you know. That's right.
Michelle, my baby, now me say me checking up. Sweet teen, she steez me like no. Rush on the DM, me now me testing on me, but so I'm in chain. Kakran, I'm enticing no. Please don't take me there. If you promise you never leave, stay with me to the morning breeze. Baby, yeah. And girl, you bossing up my brain. You got to recognize the man in me. Don't give me stories, I beg you, please. Oh, baby, so tease me, baby. Oh, you better leave me, baby. Girl, run, come kiss me, baby. Me, I go sing it, baby. Hey, mommy, I'll say. Then to chorus, no. I see I don't go, the same. On the me go, oh, go, me, sicko. Yeah. But so my business, so I'm my name on the set. Meaning it go, Give thanks. I mean, here's about this rendition.